Hey everyone, and welcome. It's so good to have you with us. Today we're diving into something really special. We're going to explore the final moments of one of the most epic stories ever told, the story of Prophet Yūsuf. But we're not just looking at how it ends. We're looking at the story after the story, the profound reflections that take it from one man's incredible journey and turned it into a timeless lesson for every single one of us. So let's get into it. Just think for a second about everything he's been through. We're talking betrayal by his own brothers, slavery, being wrongly thrown in prison, and then this unbelievable rise to become one of the most powerful people in Egypt. And after all of that, his final words aren't a victory speech. They're not a boast. It's this beautiful, incredibly humble prayer you see right here. This really frames everything that's about to come. And that's really the core question, isn't it? After all that drama, all the struggle, and then the ultimate triumph, what's the final takeaway? His last word isn't about his status, or proving his innocence, or the power he now has. Nope. His final act is one of complete, humble surrender and prayer to his Lord.
This is such a powerful shift in perspective. Yūsuf's prayer totally reframes his entire life. He doesn't look at his success or his wisdom and say, "Look what I did." He sees them as gifts from God, as a trust. You see, his end goal wasn't just to be successful in this world. It was something much deeper, to die in a state of submission and to be counted among the righteous.
So just as we're sitting with the weight of Yūsuf's prayer, the narrative does something absolutely stunning. The camera angle, so to speak, completely flips. All of a sudden, the speaker isn't Yūsuf talking to God anymore. The speaker is now God himself, speaking directly to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's a dramatic shift.
And this next part is so interesting because it's like the story knows exactly what we're thinking. It basically addresses the question, hold on, how could the Prophet Muhammad have possibly known all these intimate, behind-the-scenes details of a story from so long ago? He wasn't there. And the answer is just laid out, plain and simple. This knowledge isn't from a history book. It's a revelation. It's from the news of the unseen.
The verse uses this really specific and powerful Arabic term, al-ghaib. It means the unseen. And this is a huge concept. It's the Quran's way of saying that what you've just heard isn't some myth or legend passed down through the generations. It's being presented as a verified account from a source that's totally beyond our human senses. It's like the story's seal of divine authenticity.
And with that big shift in who's talking, the story itself just zooms out. We're moving from the personal drama of Yūsuf's life to a whole series of timeless, universal truths, lessons that are meant for all of humanity, no matter where or when you live.
Now, the first of these big lessons is a dose of profound realism. God is gently reminding the prophet, and by extension all of us, that even if you give it your absolute all, even with the most sincere effort, not everyone is going to choose to believe. The mission is to share the message with beauty and wisdom, not to force anyone's heart. Ultimately, that part isn't in our hands.
The Quran then points out that the signs of God are literally everywhere. In the stars, in nature, in the patterns of history, they're all around us, all the time. And that leads to a really important question for us today, doesn't it? In our crazy modern world with all its distractions and constant noise, how many of these incredible signs do we just walk right past every single day without even giving them a second thought? Then the Quran gives this sharp spiritual diagnosis, which you can kind of see visualized here. It says that even among people who say they believe in God, a lot of that belief is actually mixed up or contaminated with other things. As the chart shows, that pure, unadulterated belief can be pretty rare. This contamination is what the Quran calls shirk, basically associating partners with God, whether that partner is money or status or even our own ego. So what's the cure for this contaminated belief? Well, the Quran presents the foundational answer, the absolute bedrock of the entire Islamic worldview, Tawheed. This is the core idea of the absolute, pure, uncompromising oneness of God. No partners, no rivals, no associates. True submission, which is what the word Islam actually means, demands this kind of clarity and faith. Okay, so if this is the pure message, how do you share it? The Quran lays out a really clear, confident method. It's not about emotional manipulation or pressure. It's an invitation based on insight, on clear evidence, basira. As you can see, the steps are to invite with this insight, to stand firm with those who follow you, to constantly exalt God's perfection, and to be crystal clear in rejecting any kind of partnership with Him.
I love this because it shows how practical the Quran's approach is. It doesn't just ask for abstract belief. It says, hey, go see for yourself. Travel the world, study history, observe what actually happened to the great civilizations that came before you. It's an invitation to learn from the real-world consequences of belief and disbelief.
And when you study that history, a clear, timeless pattern starts to emerge. It offers both a serious warning and, honestly, a deep sense of comfort. The pattern shows that God's messengers almost always face rejection, so much so that they can reach a point of human despair, feeling like it's all over. But the Quran promises that it's precisely at that breaking point, when all other doors seem closed, that God's help and victory arrives. It's an incredible lesson in patience and trusting in God's timing. So, as we reach the final concluding verse of this incredible chapter, the Quran brings it all back home, to the very purpose of storytelling itself. It makes us ask the big why. Why was this story told? What's the point of it all? Because it's for sure not just for entertainment.
This final verse is like the mission statement for the entire Quran. It tells us that in these stories, there is a profound lesson, an ibra, which means something that allows you to cross from one state of understanding to a deeper one. It's for people who think. As you see here, the Quran is a confirmation of what came before it, a detailed explanation of what we need, and for those who believe, it is pure guidance and mercy.
And so we come full circle. We started with one man's personal prayer and ended with a message for all of humanity. The Quran is telling us very directly that this story is meant to be a lesson. So now the story of Yūsuf is over, but our reflection is just beginning. The final question is now passed on to every single one of us. What is the lesson for you?